we allow it to. At the end of the day, I am in control of my own destiny, and I am in control of my own thoughts and feelings. The stuff that goes on externally can only affect me if I allow it to. And coming from a Holocaust survivor who witnessed true horror, I would say potentially the just a sample of that infinite terror, for the fact that he himself came through such pain and suffering and was able to come out with such a truth that you are in control of yourself, you are in control of your emotions and everything. I think that's wonderful, and I think that's just a great example in general.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things, like I was saying before, is just that an evil can motivate someone to do infinite good, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
that's yeah, it's kind of hard to speak on those things, especially with such an example like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who went through the Holocaust. There's probably not many other people alive today that could say that they've also endured such a thing
Mm-hmm.
or something to that magnitude, you know? So I guess speaking back to the whole thing, like feeling underqualified to speak, right? There's just maybe that's part of it. Like I don't know, and we haven't gone through enough lately to be able to speak truths anymore, to do good, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because we haven't experienced enough bad. But yeah, that's kind of as I was saying before, it's the only silver lining to a dark or a bad time is that you're probably going to come out on the other side a better person,
Yeah.
uh, or able to do more. You've seen more. You've hit an all-time low, a new PR of a low. So now you are equally as able to hit a new PR high, and it kind of sucks, but perspective is just it's reality, you know.
Mm-hmm.
However, something affects you. Okay, I'm derailing right now, but yeah, I'm
No worries.
derailing. I was mixing together two thoughts, but
No,
no, it
no,
was something else that you said earlier, having how allowing the outside world to affect you. You
mm-hmm.
know, it can change you, or you don't have to let it change you. But that's it just keyed me into that thing, and that whole perspective is reality,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets truer and truer. And I used to hate that statement because it was like, well, if I look like I'm not paying attention in class, so the teacher, you know, neglect or disciplines me for it, then that's kind of ass. If I was actually paying attention in class, but I just looked like I wasn't. But
Yeah.
it is perspective is reality in a lot of other ways that are a little bit more true than that. So yeah.
Yeah. It's like am I just gonna be an old dog? Just I have bad qualities and that's just it is what it is. Are you gonna stick to that perspective, or are you gonna change your mindset and be like, I've had the privilege and the opportunity to experience the life that I don't want, and I know the life that I do want, stuff like that. It's just, yeah, it's all about perspective and everything. But yeah, it's funny that we ended up getting into such a deep philosophical conversation.
No, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of just in my nature, actually. So it might just lend nicely. You know, we'll see where the podcast goes. Maybe it always ends up deep like this, or maybe it doesn't. But definitely, at least any podcast involving me,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna get to this point at some point. But I'm always having these thoughts, and I'm not the most vocal person. Uh, I would say majority of the time I'm not the most talkative person, and I always say that I'm not very good at conversation, but it's because I spend most of my time in my head thinking about
Yeah.
these things and talking to myself, I guess. So,
Yeah. And that almost comes in canon with like just being afraid to speak your mind and be yourself nowadays without being so judged and attacked or canceled or anything that of that nature. And it's just that growing fear of the external world doing that to you. And and then that breeds like the echo chamber within your own head and everything. Like I'll admit wholeheartedly, everything that I read here and everything I learn is nothing but an echo chamber, and I could be entirely wrong on it. But like what we're doing right now with the conversation, that's how we disseminate and break through it. And it's honestly, even if we're like way off tangent or completely wrong on some of the things that we've talked to, at least we're having the conversation and we both know inside our hearts that we have the utmost good intentions to just be good and to do better and to hopefully help people in the progress.
Yeah, and like I don't know, you're not ever gonna find your way to the right answer if you
Hmm.
just hide all your stuff inside and never really like figure it out. Like you got to be
Yeah,
wrong once in a while. And
exactly.
yeah, no, I'm fully uh ready to be wrong at any time, and just depends on when it happens, I guess. But it can
Hmm.
sting, but that's how you learn. That's how
Yeah,
you figure out what's right, because it's got to sting a little bit when you're wrong, you know.
exactly.
So
And that's where like humility comes into play. And then like circle back again. That's why it's like my life goal is to learn everything. But yeah, I accept at the same time I could be wrong about everything. And it's, just having that humility and, accepting when I'm wrong and everything. Cause like I've literally, it's in the about me page of my channel. It's almost in every episode that I have. I have the constant focus that I could be wrong. And that's 100% okay. I'm perfectly okay with being wrong. I'm not okay with like being targeted, cyberbullied, stuff like that. Then I will stand up for myself because I won't sit idly by. But I'm okay with being wrong. I'm not going to have all the right answers, nor will I act like that. And I don't have a college education. I don't have all this grand experience that all these greater intellectuals have and everything. All I have is just the information I have at hand, what I could find online, and my own head and my ability to disseminate the difference between fact and fiction. But at least having this conversation is just the best way to go. And it's having the mutual respect, for example, that you and I have for each other. That's the biggest thing. Because like you were saying that you're trying to talk to somebody, and once you put down your phone and looked at them and then you started to chime in, they then went on their phone and almost like they're afraid to have the conversation because they're afraid to be proved wrong or anything like that. But it's just a part of life. You either ignore your flaws, your when you're wrong and everything, and you only dig yourself a deeper hole, or you at least take the criticism, you admit when you're wrong, and it could be taken with a grain of salt, it could be bittersweet and anything of that nature. But I mean, so long as at the end of the day, you are a good person, you admit that you're wrong, and you're willing to better yourself, then that's the most important thing. That's all that matters. Because I believe 100% you are a fantastic human being, Adam. You're a good man. And I will hold that standard with everybody as well. I believe everybody is infinitely great and capable of achieving beyond their wildest dreams. We just, we got to be able to tap into that potential, break through the vices, break through the sins, and break through the clouds that are blocking all that out.